Manitoba's official opposition says they found somewhat of a smoking gun that proves Wabkanu's NDP is making major spending cuts. But the NDP government says that's not the case. CBC's Bartley Kivas has been following this story for us all afternoon. And Bartley, what exactly is the issue here?
Well, back in the spring, credit rating company S+P gave Manitoba a favorable report, but there was one line that stuck out as unusual. S+P said the government was cutting back or has cut back on spending by 40%, and that would amount to more than $1 billion, not capital spending, that is. The Tories claim the NDP are quietly cutting to make ends meet after going on a spending spree. Manitoba Finance Minister Adrian Salas says no. He says it's a mischaracterization. He says his government's simply not going ahead with all the promises the PCs made before the last provincial election.
A lot of the announcements that they made in hopes of staying in government really led Manitobans on, but they weren't planned for, and they had absolutely no plan to pay for them.
So, Bartley, credit companies tend to rate these statements or base their statements on actual data. So does Salah's explanation actually make sense?
Well, his explanation is something we did hear a lot last fall after the provincial election, and that was essentially you can't cut anything if it didn't exist in the first place. The PCs aren't buying this. Interim leader Wayne Ewasko insists the NDP is overspending. He claims we'll see hard evidence of this when Manitoba Finance starts publishing data from the period after the NDP took power.
Mr. Canoe is a benefactor of a stable credit rating. But I think anything moving forward, when we get into public accounts coming up here in the next short while, that's all going to be on Wabkanu and the NDP government.
So is there anything else in this report that raised eyebrows?
Well, S+P said Manitoba is in position to post a modest surplus next year. Finance Minister Adrian Salas says that's not happening. He says, as planned, this government isn't going to have a balanced budget until the final year, of Wabkanu's first term. Brittany.
All right, thanks, Bart.